What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey, still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. You don't like it, you can have that seat Brazil.
All right, so I actually had a video planned about the Xbox thing yesterday, but obviously this takes priority over that. So maybe I'll make that other video later today. But in case you've been under a rock, I mean, this news is very new still, but in case you've been living under a rock, now there is a rumor that the Nintendo Switch 2 may not now come out until next year, 2025. And of course, the internet's going crazy about that because everyone is expecting the Switch 2 to come out this year, not next year. Because one, what the rumors have been telling us, and then also the fact that Nintendo's release slate for the Nintendo Switch is rather thin. Now, so this rumor comes from a source from Brazil, and put out a podcast detailing what his sources are telling him. And it's in Brazilian, but a Family Boards user has pretty much summarized it for us in English. And I'm gonna go over this summary and then give my thoughts on what I think is actually happening here. So, says Switch 2 talk starts at 30 minutes in. Says he has sources but can't 100% confirm it. He believes everything will be clarified in March, meaning next month. And it says, but although he isn't 100% sure about it, he has a lot of sources saying the same thing and it's solid information. According to his sources, Switch 2 will release during Q1 of 2025. Has more than 3 people that are working with this date in mind. Others said they're originally supposed to be released in 2024, but was delayed till Q1 of 2025. Next fiscal year, and that's Nintendo's goal. He doesn't know why it was decided to be released in 2025 and not 2024. He knows Nintendo won't stop releasing games for Switch 1 and has more stuff set to be released this year. But everything set to be released this year are small titles. Big releases are for Switch 2 only now. He reiterates that although he will never be 100% sure until Nintendo states it officially, he has a lot of sources and a lot of trusted sources saying the same thing, Q1 2025. He's kind of disappointed too, but it is what it is. Light reveal in March, followed by a blowout in June. Now, I'm going to go with no. And the reason I'm going to go with no is because a lot of this does not make sense. Now, everything that Nintendo has been doing, everything that the sources with actually real information have been saying, has pointed to this year, has pointed to 2024. But then all of a sudden, we get this information saying that those plans have been changed, and then now 2025, early 2025 is the target. But here's the problem with that information. One, the hardware, from what we can tell, is finished. Now, we heard before that Nintendo was planning to make sure that they had way more than enough supply so that the Nintendo Switch won't have the same supply situation as the PlayStation 5 did when it launched. But I got news for you. It doesn't matter how many Switch 2s are available during the launch period. It's going to sell out. So that kind of doesn't matter. It's good that they want to have an ample supply, but it's still going to sell out immediately. And it's still going to be hard to find no matter how many they make. Now, you could say that backs up this report because maybe they want to have so much that they're waiting all the way until next year so that they have just a whole bunch of Switch 2s. But the problem with that is this person's sources is saying that even though they're hearing the system won't come out over a year from now, that they're hearing Nintendo will still reveal the Switch 2 next month and still have a big blowout for the system this June. Now ask yourself this. Does that really make sense? If the system isn't going to actually launch until next March or next February or whatever, what need does Nintendo really have to reveal it next month? And even more so, what need do they have to do a full blowout of the system this June if it's not coming out until next March? Especially if their sources are telling them that all the games coming out for the Switch from Nintendo this year are all small titles. That part doesn't make sense. Because if they're planning to come out with nothing but smaller titles for the Switch, and the Switch 2 isn't coming out till next year, there's no need for them to do a reveal or a blowout this early because people are just going to be talking about Switch 2, Switch 2, Switch 2, Switch 2 for over a year straight and not wanting to buy a regular Switch. Unless they put a massive price drop on the original Switch or the Switch OLED or Switch Lite. But still, given the reveal and times with the reveal and release times with the original Switch, and even technically with the Wii U, there's no need for them to do that. So that's why I have my doubts, and that's why I'm pretty much convinced that this is not true. But where I think the mistranslation could have possibly had or occurred is maybe the Switch 2, unlike the Switch 1, maybe it won't have a worldwide release in 2024. I guess that's possible. Maybe it's releasing in certain territories in early 2025 due to shortages of supplies and stuff like that. Maybe. But my gut is telling me that the reason why this person's sources, if correct, are telling them 2025 Q1 is because that's when the titles that they're working on is coming out. Because not every person working on a Switch 2 game right now is going to have their game come out at launch. And I think that's where the translation thing is going off here. And also, whenever you get close to a launch like this or close to a official reveal, fake information is intentionally put out there to throw people off. The Switch 2 is about to be announced like next month. So Nintendo, of course, they like everything being a secret. They're not going to really want that information to be out there. So Nintendo themselves could have possibly put fake stuff out there just to throw you off. I mean, I've told you guys years ago, they are so obsessed with keeping things a surprise that they will change their plans just to mess people up. Like, look what they did to Jeff Grubb. They made that man shave his hair off, only to shadow drop it like a month later. They do this stuff on purpose, people. So, don't rule them out possibly putting some fake information out there to throw people off. But as far as the Switch 2 not releasing in any territory until 2025, yeah, I doubt that. I doubt that very much. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section.